Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great, wonderful day. Well, I think I'm going to start doing any of my, my men's world or not my men's world, but like my realities outside in the open so everybody can see. Probably be some different locations. Sometimes will be me, walking mostly going to be me walking in my own neighborhood. But I kind of want to talk about more about my, religious factor, because I have some religious people that are on my channel, which welcome, by the way, glad you guys are here, and kind of understand a bit more about me. Now, this isn't due to the video that I released back of words where, I was talking about people or religion or whatever. It has nothing to do about that. Didn't get any backlash, and even if I did, it wouldn't be the cause of me making this video. I'm only saying this because I think you guys probably should know a little bit more about me, about my own reality, about religion and stuff like that. And to be quite frank with you guys, I'm not really a huge thing on religion. I have seen it do more harm than good in most cases, in throughout history at least. Because way back in the older days, right? A lot of the wars, a lot of the attacks, even on gay people in particular, we kind of like shunned a lot of these gay people in particular, right? For, being gay. And then we would, not allow them certain services or stuff like that. Like, kind of like what the Muslims do or Iran does to their own gay people, where they just murder them. So, there's stuff like that. And we had that in the books for, like, at least I know in the Catholic and in the Christian area, to where that's more of a thing in that particular area, right? So, I wasn't really too fond of that because of that. And of course, the huge amount of wars that we've had in the, because due of religion. And thanks to religion, I guess you could say, in the Quran and stuff like that, we have these radical Muslims or these radical insane people go and push these really crazy boundaries, whether it's on women or whether it's like on their own people, to where like, or even the outside world, where it's all like, it's so radical to where they go kill anybody that doesn't believe in the Quran or etc. or in their own religion. So, to me, that's a huge problem, because honestly, I don't think that you should honestly go out into war and stuff like that for religion-based stuff. Now, that's my problem with it. And yes, I was actually more raised into a religious household, so that's kind of like where I grew up in. My family is Catholic, so we did the confirmation class and stuff like that, and all that. And even still, a lot of people were basing off of like the religion of the type of stuff where, oh well, religion is all about your morals and stuff like that, and what's been going on, etc. And my whole problem with that in particular, sure, maybe we needed religion back then where it was beneficial to people to do religion and stuff like that, because I believe we were more savages back in the day, so I don't think humans were really the greatest people back in those days. I think we as a people, we have evolved quite considerably since then, and mostly our morals are right. But even though I was going to a Catholic school, I was either going to a Catholic school either when I was a younger kid or going to a more higher advanced school later into my years. So most of my life, I've been going through a Catholic school. That's just the way it was, and that's the way I did it. That's what my parents think was fine. Also, because private school, I was privileged enough to be able to do that. However, in this case, I didn't really see much of the morals didn't really go into me as a child, right? I wasn't really taught morals by the church, in that sense. Now, some of you may say, well, then your church was a failure because your church didn't, give you morals, stuff like that. And those things kind of led to other issues as well that was been going on with the church in particular, right? So now that we have that out of the way, I don't think that was an issue. My father was the one that technically brought me my morals. My morals was led to me to being the person that I am today. And that's just it. I didn't really learn too much morals from the church. Of course, they said shall not kill and stuff like that, and the typical church stuff. But that being said, even though that it taught me that, it wasn't really that instilled it into me. It was mostly, my father that did it, and the peers above me that did it. It wasn't the church in itself. And I just don't agree with a lot of the things that the church says or does, the gay people being one of them. And I didn't really put it this way. I didn't really have it like it to where I had somebody tell me what to do. Always been a free spirit man. I've always wanted people to do things that whatever they wanted to do without no restrictions. Obviously, we need some sort of restrictions. So I'm not going to say like, oh, you should have the freedom to go and, off that guy out in the streets. No, you shouldn't go off that guy in the streets. You shouldn't be allowed to, do heinous crimes to other people. That's what you shouldn't do. That's not really okay at all. In fact, it's pretty bad. So I don't think you should just go do that. However, should be some restrictions, but I don't care usually what people do in their lives. It's not a big deal to me. Why? Because, being a big deal is something that being a big deal is, freedom is freedom. And that's the reason why we have in this country. And as we can see, obviously today, where this sham of a trial against Donald Trump, we can obviously see where our freedoms, day by day, every day, is being shattered as we see it. And that's just not okay to me. So, that's another reason why I made my YouTube channel as well. As I said, freedom was a big part for me. I like when people are free and able to do things, whatever they see fit, as long as they're not hurting other people. And, I have my own opinions on relationships, which will probably be my own reality type thing later on. But my view on relationships is a bit different than I guess you could say some other people. But in most cases, I don't care what people do in their own relationships. There are consequences, I think, if you do certain things in those relationships, or if you have a certain late relationship aspect, that may cause problems in that situation. But nonetheless, that's just the case that is. So, again, religion has never been my forte. I haven't really been too much of that. I guess you could say I'm more stoic than some other people and when it comes to stuff like that. Because I remember when specifically my Catholic church, or the Catholic area in general, kind of just said like, oh, well, you get to tell you how much you love your parents and stuff like that, or your father, whatever. And it's not like I didn't. It's just, especially back when I was a teenager, I just didn't show my emotions that way at all. So I felt it was more invasive and a more personal thing to do that rather than anything. And, that's just the way I was as a kid. Obviously, I grew out of that awkwardness and shit like that, but, stuff like that is just, to me, I just found that incredibly invasive. And anything that is personal should be between you and your family, or whoever you want to put that up with, right? So, like, if I had something incredibly impersonal to me that was either religious or what have you, I just think that you should share that to who you trust the most, who you want to share it with. And whether that's, being God or a friend or whatever, that's your choice. That's your decision, right? And like I said, I have zero problems with religion. I have zero problems. If people want to be religious, by all means, be religious. If you want to be that like that, or whatever, that's fine. And I'm not saying I'm an atheist, because I still think there is a God of some kind out there. I mean, somebody had to do something to create this. And there's also hard to say that, like, I guess there is some kind of evidence to where Jesus was here, or what have you, or like some pictures of Noah's Ark where, I forgot exactly what it was. But like there is some actual evidence of that. And that's something that I can't disagree with. I just don't like a lot of the philosophies or some of the things that are talking about religion. However, if religion makes you become a better person to you, then by all means go and do that, right? Go and do what makes you think that would better you. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And to wrap this all up, and part of the reason why I made this video was because a lot of the people that were on Religious Factor, I should have recorded it, don't know why I didn't, but I should have recorded to where there were people in this call when Trump was known to be, wanted to have 3 states on abortion. And don't get me wrong, I'm against abortion entirely, right? I'm against abortion entirely. And he wanted to just, up to 3 months or whatever is, the cutoff for like the abortion or whatever. It's like anything past that, it's a problem. And we had religious fanatics come out of nowhere and be like, oh, we're not voting for Trump because, well, he doesn't want to outright ban abortion. Well, first off, that doesn't make any logical sense. And these are also what you call Republicans, mind you, these religious, Catholic, or whatever Christian type people. And my whole point, and I didn't get a chance to talk to them or get a conference with them. And I wanted to say, so if their stance on abortion is so strong, then you're willing to sacrifice the country and your family for your stance, even though that is something that we can tackle later on, right? We can tackle abortion as a culture later. Like, we can fix this as a culture, because I think morally, this is our problem in our culture. Morally, we think abortion is okay. Morally, we think that killing things is okay. So we just do this. And I don't think by banning abortion is going to fix that morally. I think if we fix it culturally in a more moral sense, along with, increasing the laws, it will help. Because I think if you do the culture, if you do it morally, those laws will start coming into place. Like, okay, yeah, we do want these laws to come into place. We do want these laws to be here because we think it's wrong. Rather than, going out and not saying, we're going to completely go against Trump and not vote for him. And then you see this to where the Banana Republic, right, is going against him and putting 34 counts on Donald Trump. And then you're like, oh, well, now your family's actually in danger. Because now if they see you as a Republican, as obviously as you are, then now your family, then the Biden administration or the Gestapo or the government is going to start coming after you now. And now since they're going to be coming after you, then that just means that your whole family's in danger. So your one vote that you were trying to stop your family from being in danger in the first place, just you threw it out the window for abortion, which doesn't make any logical sense at all. It's actually just completely illogical, and it's all emotion-based. And emotion never dictates good things. It always dictates bad things. Emotion will always dictate something negative to come to you, because when you use emotion, your actions don't end up being good. And most of the time when guys use emotion, guess what happens? Violence usually occurs. That's just kind of how men operate, all right? Sorry about that, ladies, but that's just the way it is. And women react in a different way. They usually end up crying or something like that. Not all the time, obviously, but that's just the case. And I don't think we should be acting on emotion to be guiding on where we're going in for our country, especially when we know the ramifications of going against that is a huge bloody problem, in my personal opinion. So that's my whole problem with religion. I just think it makes people make horrible, terrible decisions, and it doesn't put anybody in the right stance. Like, if you're going to have religion dictate so much to where you're going to sacrifice something, then I don't know if it's really of a great benefit. But again, I don't think that's for everybody, but I've always seen religion bring down the worst in some people. I just see it to where it just makes people think either so radical that it is a detriment. And I know that's not for everybody, but just that's the way I see it. Maybe one of my religious people or religious people can come onto my show at some point, or whatever, want to talk about it. That's fine with me, and we can talk about it. But again, I am not a religious hater. I just think I see a lot of negatives. I see mostly negatives from religion, and I just kind of want that to be addressed and have my concerns and why my reality is like this, right? So that's just the way it is. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.